ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदामह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, reading from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. We are reading from Canto 4, Chapter 12. Dhruva Mahārāja goes back to Godhead. So, we are in the section where we see arrival of the Vishnudutas along with the Vimana, Vaikuntha Vimana, and we are at text 28. So, text 28. Maitreya Uvacha निशम्य वैकुण्ठनियोज्य मुख्ययोः मधुच्युतं वाचमुरुक्रमप्रियः कृताभिषेका कृतनित्यमण्डलो मुनिं प्रणम्याशिष अभ्यवादयत्. Translation.
The great sage Maitreya continued, Maharaj Dhruva was very dear to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When he heard the sweet speeches of the Lord's chief associates in the Vaikuntha planet, he immediately took his sacred bath, dressed himself with suitable ornaments, and performed his daily spiritual duties. Thereafter, he offered his respectful obeisances to the great sage present there and accepted their blessings. Purport. We should mark how dutiful Dhruva Maharaj was in his devotional service. Even at the time he left this material world, he was constantly alert in the performance of devotional duties. Every devotee should take his bath early in the morning and decorate his body with tilaka. In Kali Yuga, one can hardly acquire gold or jeweled ornaments, but the 12 tilak marks on the body are sufficient as auspicious decorations to purify the body. Since Dhruva Maharaj was living at the time of at Badarikāśrama, there were other great sages there. He did not become puffed up because the airplane sent by Lord Vishnu was waiting for him. As a humble Vaiṣṇava, he accepted blessings from all the sages before riding on the plane brought by the chief of the Vaikuntha associates. Hare Krishna.
So, this is how now Dhruva Maharaj was very dear to the Supreme Lord. Right. When he heard the sweet speeches of Nanda and Sunanda, he did four things. First, he immediately took his sacred bath. Second, he dressed himself with suitable ornaments. And here, suitable ornaments are tilaka, Vaiṣṇava tilak, applied 12 places on the body. Third, performed his daily spiritual duties, whatever his sadhana was. And fourth, he offered his respectful obeisances to the great sages present there and accepted their blessings. He is boarding the Vaikuntha plane, that is the ultimate goal of everybody. But still, Dhruva Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, this is how dutiful Dhruva Maharaj was in his devotional service. Even up to time of leaving the material world, he was very, very dutiful. This is the Bhagavad Gita talks about this. Prak Sharira Vimokshanat. Sharira Vimokshanat means up to the leaving one's body, one should be very dutiful. Every devotee should take bath early in the morning and decorate his body with tilaka. So, Prabhupada writes here, Dhruva was constantly alert to perform the duty. And the first duty of a devotee is to rise early in the morning, take bath, and apply tilaka at the 12 places. So, in the Vaiṣṇava, the manual, we will come to know where to apply the tilaka. We chant the 12 Vishnu mantras, Om Keshavaya Namaha, Om Narayanaya Namaha, Om Madhavaya Namaha, Om Govindaya Namaha. And there is a mantra also. Uh, what is that mantra? So when we are preparing the paste, tilaka paste on our hands, there is one mantra also to chant. Lalate keshavam dhyayet narayanam yashodare vakshasthale madhavam tu govindam kanthakupake vishnum cha dakshine kukshau bahau cha madhusudana त्रिविक्रमं स्कन्दतरे तु वामनं वामपार्श्वके ऋषिकेशं वामबाहौ तु श्रीधरं तु कन्धरे पृष्ठे पद्मनाभं च कटिं दामोदरं न्यसेत्. So this is the mantra one should chant when one is preparing tilaka. Lalate Keshavam Dhyayet Narayanam Yashodare. Okay, if you just search with this, you will get this mantra. Lalate Keshavam Dhyayet. So these are the 12 places and the 12 names of the Lord. So this is how one prepares tilaka on one's forehead, one's hand, and then applies tilaka. Prabhupada says in this age, gold is going to become progressively difficult to obtain gold ornaments. And look at the rate of the gold, which has gone to 1,60,000-70,000. Silver has become like almost touching 3 lakhs now. Gold is 1,60,000 tola, means that is for 10 grams. Silver is per kg rate. I mean, not to miss. But anyway, gold and silver are going to be very, very costly in the due course of time. So devotees' real ornaments, they are the ornaments, are the tilaka. Vaishnava Sadachar and tilaka, yeah. So this is the mantra. Correct. So Vaishnava ornaments are the tilaka that we have to apply. And here he took bath, applied tilak. Prabhupada says one should do this. He did not become puffed up because the aeroplane was sent by Lord Vishnu, but as a humble Vaishnava, he accepted blessings from all the sages who are preparing themselves to go back home, back to Godhead, but senior to Dhruva by age and practice. And thus he, before boarding the aeroplane. So very, very dutiful, that is Dhruva, and very humble, right? So this is very important quality for a devotee, the humility. And more the qualified one is, more the humble he will become. There is a Sanskrit shloka, which says that the tree which is filled with the fruits will always bend down because of, the humility, the bhar of the fruit will bend it down. Text 29. परित्याभ्यर्चक्च दीक्ष्णाक्षयम् पार्षदौ अभिवन्द्य च ईयेष तद अधिष्ठातुं बिभ्रद्रूपं हिरण्मयम्. Translation?
Translation. Before getting aboard, Dhruva Mahārāja worshipped the airplane, circumambulated it, and also offered obeisance to the associates of Vishnu. In the meantime, he became as brilliant and illuminating as molten gold. He was thus completely prepared to board the transcendental plane. Purport. In the absolute world, the plane, the associates of Lord Vishnu and Lord Vishnu himself are all spiritual. There is no material contamination. In quality, everything there is one. As Lord Vishnu is worshipable, so also are his associates, his paraphernalia, his airplane, and his abode. For everything of Vishnu is as good as Lord Vishnu. Dhruva Mahārāja knew all this very well as a pure Vaiṣṇava, and he offered his respects to the associates and to the plane before riding in it. But in the meantime, his body changed into spiritual existence, and therefore it was illuminating like molten gold. In this way, he also became one with the other paraphernalia of Vishnu Loka. Mayavadi philosophers cannot imagine how this oneness can be achieved even in different varieties. Their idea of oneness is that there is no variety. Therefore, they have become impersonist. As Shishumara, Vishnu Loka, or Dhruva Loka are completely different from this material world, So, a Vishnu temple within this world is also completely different from this material world. As soon as we are in a temple, we should very well, sorry, as soon as we are in a temple, we should know very well that we are situated differently from the material world. In the temple, Lord Vishnu, his throne, his room, and all other things associated with the temple are transcendental. The three modes, Sattva-guna, Rajoguna, and Tamaguna, have no entrance into the temple. It is said, therefore, that to live in the forest is in the mode of goodness, to live in the city is in the mode of passion, and to live in a brothel, liquor shop, or slaughterhouse is in the mode of ignorance. But to live in the temple means to live in Vaikuntha Loka. Everything in the temple is as worshipable as Lord Vishnu or Kṛṣṇa. Hare Krishna.
So again here humility of Dhruva. Before boarding the plane, Dhruva Maharaj worshipped the airplane, Vaikuntha Vimana. He circumambulated it, offered obeisances unto the Nanda Sunanda, the associates of the Supreme Lord. And in the meantime, when all this was happening, he became as brilliant and illuminating as the molten gold. Thus, his body completely changed to spiritual, and when he was completely prepared to board the aeroplane. So, this is the direct process of how actually one boards the aeroplane. We may not have the transcendental eyes to see such transformation, but this is what exactly happens. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains that in the absolute world, the plane, associates of Lord Vishnu and Lord Vishnu himself are all spiritual, right? And therefore, there is no material contamination in the spiritual world. Everything there is one, in the sense, everything there is spiritual. Just as Lord Vishnu is worshipable, Aradhananam Sarvesham Vishnu Aradhana Param Tasmat Parataram Devi Tadiyanam Samarchanam. So, similarly, the associates of the Lord, the paraphernalia of the Lord, they are also worshipable and they are called as Tadiya. So, Lord Shiva explains to Mother Parvati, Tadiyanam Samarchanam, that these are the Tadiya, that is, things connected to the Supreme Lord. The aeroplane, the paraphernalia, his abode, and everything of Lord Vishnu is as good as Vishnu. And that doesn't mean, Prabhupada says, Mayavad, we'll come to Mayavad later. So, therefore, he offered all these obeisances, and in the meantime, his body changed into spiritual existence, and thus he became like the illuminating gold, molten gold. And thus he became one with the other paraphernalia of the Vaikuntha. That doesn't mean that he lost his identity. He became one means he also became completely spiritual. All material contamination is gone. Srila Prabhupada explains Mayavadi philosophers cannot imagine this, variety, this oneness and variety simultaneously. They said Vishnu and his abode is one. Said yes, one. But are they different? Ah, yes, they are different. Right. So this is the achintya bheda bheda tattva. So that is not understood, and thus they become impersonal. Everything is one, and there is no variety there. There is nothing called as abode of the Lord. You just go and become a light there in Brahmajyoti. So that is the great mistake on the part of Mayavadis, who are called as nirvishesha. There is no visheshata, or there is no differentiation, or there are no different activities in Vaikuntha. Only there is light. That is their mistake. And then Srila Prabhupada says that Vishnu temple is beyond the three modes. So while there are places within the three modes, but the Vishnu temple, when we go to the temple, it is as good as going to Vaikuntha, and everything in the temple should be is worshipped as Lord Vishnu. We have the kartal, we have mridanga, devotees of the Lord, paraphernalia of the Lord, prasad of the Lord. All these are as worshipable as the Supreme Lord Vishnu. Text 30. तदुत्थानपादः पुत्रो ददर्शान्तकमागतम् मृत्योर्मूर्ध्नि पदं दत्त्वा आरुरोहम् adbhutam gruham. Translation.
When Dhruva Maharaj was attempting to get on the transcendental plane, he saw death personified approach him. Not caring for death, however, he took advantage of the opportunity to put his feet on the head of death. And thus he got up on the aeroplane, which was as big as a house. Purport: To take the passing away of a devotee and the passing away of a non-devotee as one and the same is completely misleading. While ascending the transcendental airplane, Dhruva Maharaj suddenly saw death personified before him. But he was not afraid. Instead of death giving him trouble, Dhruva Maharaj took advantage of death's presence and put his feet on the head of death. People with a poor fund of knowledge do not know the difference between death of a devotee and the death of a non-devotee. In this connection, an example can be given. A cat carries its kitten in its mouth, and it also catches a rat in its mouth. Superficially, the catching of the rat and the kitten appear to be one and the same, but actually they are not. When the cat catches the rat in its mouth, it means the death for the cat. Sorry, death for the rat. Whereas the cat catches the kitten enjoys it. When Dhruva Maharaj boarded the airplane, he took advantage of the arrival of death personified, who came to offer him obeisances. Putting his feet on the head of death, he got up on the unique airplane, which is described here to be as big as a house, graham. There are many other similar instances in Bhagavad literature. It is stated that when Kardama Muni created an airplane to carry his wife, Devahuti, all, all over the universe, the airplane was like a big city carrying many houses, lakes, and gardens. Modern scientists have manufactured big airplanes, but they are packed with passengers who experience all sorts of discomfort while riding in them. Material scientists are not even perfect in manufacturing a material airplane. In other in order to compare to the airplane used by Kardama or the plane sent from Vishnu, they must manufacture an airplane equipped like a big city with all the comforts of life, lakes, gardens, parks, etc. The plane must be able to fly in outer space and hover and visit all over the planets. If they invent such a plane, they will not have to make different space station or fuel for fuel to travel into other outer space. Such a plane would have an unlimited supply of fuel, or like the plane from Vishnu Loka, would fly without it. Hare Krishna.
So now when Dhruva Maharaj was attempting to get on this transcendental plane, he saw death personified arriving, approaching him. The darsham antaka agatam. So antaka means the death personified, sakshat mrityu. Not caring for death, he took advantage of the opportunity to put his feet on the head of the death, and thus he got up on the aeroplane, which was as big as a house, Gruham. So, so this is how the further progress of this. Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, the passing away of a devotee and the passing away of a non-devotee, they are completely on two different platforms. And therefore, the passing of away of a devotee, how a devotee passed away should not be bewildering. Like we have seen previously, we have seen the examples. Parikshit Maharaj, there was a bite of a snake, Takshaka. Then we have seen, the later we will see one very amazing devotee story will come, Vritrasur. And that is, and he's dying in a way very horrible death. His limbs being cut off by Indra's Vajra. Or in the contemporary life, we have seen, the final days of few devotees. So, but a passing away of a devotee, the death of a devotee, so called, and the death of a non-devotee, they are on completely different planes. Srila Prabhupada gives very famous example of cat carrying the rat and the cat carrying the kitten. The mouth is same, but for the rat, the mouth is death, and for the kitten, kitten is actually enjoying, the affection of the mother. So this is the two difference. So when death approached, right, who had come to offer obeisances to Dhruva as a duty the death personified Antakam was doing, Dhruva took this opportunity to place his feet on the head of the death and boarded the unique aeroplane which was as big as a house or gruham. So neither, the death approaching a devotee should bewilder us, neither the plane as big as the house should bewilder us. Prabhupada says there are many instances like this. Very famous aeroplane of Kardama, that was also there. Of course, we are also trying to make aeroplane, but this aeroplane is filled with. Prabhupada says one thing is many passengers, and then leg space is always a issue, and then safety is always a problem. Of course, among the commute, aeroplane is quite safe, but still, we have seen very recently the Ahmedabad instance, hundreds dying in that accident, and the plane has to come down. Okay, the plane is not like a city, not filled with the lakes, gardens, parks, and everything else, and surely it is not with unlimited fuel supply. So, and surely it is not going to take us back to Vaikuntha. So there is something to aspire for, and that is Vaikuntha plane. Text 31. तदा दुन्दुभयो नेदु मृदङ्गप्पणवादयः गन्धर्वमुख्या प्रजगुः पेतुः कुसुमवृष्टयः. Translation.
At that time, drums and kettle drums resounded from the sky. The chief Gandharvas began to sing, and other demigods showered flowers like torrents of rain upon Dhruva Mahārāja.
Yeah. So now started a universal festival of return of Dhruva Mahārāja back home, back to Godhead. The drums and the kettle drums sounded in the sky. Dumdubi, Mridangapa, and the Gandharvas began to sing and dance. The demigod showered flowers like the torrents of rain upon Dhruva Mahārāja. What a life, perfecting the life. Kusuma Vrishtaya. Petuhu means rain, like the rain, they showered flowers. Text 32. Sacha swalokamarokṣan sunitim jananim Dhruvaha anvasmarat agamitva dīnām yāse trivishtapam. Translation.
Dhruva was seated in the transcendental airplane, which was just about to start, when he remembered his poor mother Suniti. He thought to himself, how shall I go alone to the Vaikuntha planet and leave behind my poor mother? Purport. Dhruva had a feeling of obligation to his mother Suniti. It was Suniti who had given him the clue which had now enabled him to be personally carried to the Vaikuntha planet by the associates of Lord Vishnu. He now remembered her and wanted to take her with him. Actually, Dhruva Mahāraja's mother Suniti was his Patha Pradarshak Guru. Patha Pradarshak Guru means the Guru or the spiritual master who shows the way. Such a Guru is sometimes called Shiksha Guru. Although Narad Muni was his Diksha Guru, initiating spiritual master, Suniti, his mother, was the first who gave him instruction on how to achieve the favor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is the duty of the Shiksha Guru or Diksha Guru to instruct the disciple in the right way, and it depends on the disciple to execute the process. According to Shastric injunctions, there is no difference between Shiksha Guru and Diksha Guru, and generally the Shiksha Guru later on becomes the Diksha Guru. Suniti, however, being a woman and specifically his mother, could not become Dhruva Mahāraja's Diksha Guru. Still, he was not less obliged to Suniti. There was no question of carrying Narada Muni to Vaikuntha Loka, but Dhruva Mahārāja thought of his mother. Whatever plan the Supreme Personality of Godhead contemplates immediately
It's
for
a bigger purport. We'll do it in section. Dhruva Maharaj was seated in the transcendental aeroplane. So he took advantage of death personified, stepped on the death, and he boarded the transcendental aeroplane, which was about to start, right? When he remembered his poor mother Suniti, right? And then he thought, how should I go alone to the Vaikuntha planet and leave behind my poor mother? Why poor mother? Because, later also we will come, there is a description of Pitarauch Dino. Why? Because of the age, right? Age will take toll on everything. So because of the age, advanced age, the parents literally become children of the children of their kids. So so it is the parents who have taken care of us in our balpan, in our when we were in the when we were child, and now when the parents grow old, literally the child now who grows up is supposed to do everything that parents have done for the child in the his childhood or her childhood. So recently I read a very beautiful quote. I I will find out tomorrow. We'll try to read that. Very amazing quote. Just give me a second if I can quickly find out. Very similar to this. No, I will. We will find it out tomorrow. And so where it is said that when parents become old, they will many times they will say the same thing, ask the same question, repeat the same story, and the grown up children who are busy with their material life should not become agitated by parents. Just like the parents have tolerated us, raised us with so much of love and affection in their childhood. Similarly, when the parents become old, it is the duty of the child to take care of the parents. And this is the way one actually gets free from the pitru runa, the runa of the parents. So this is important. It's not that one should not think, "Hey, kya, same thing mother is telling, same thing." You call your parents and what they're. When I call my mother, the only thing she will ask is, "How is your health? Uh, are you taking good rest? Are you eating properly? Are you sleeping properly? Ye kya ho raha hai?" Same thing. And then she will give phone to my father. He will also ask the same thing. So it is not that one becomes agitated. Ye kya hai? My time is precious. This and that. I have so many things to do. It is just the cycle completing. Somebody put it very succinctly, recently. I will find out that. Very beautifully he has put it up. How the parents take care of the kids, and eventually with the progress of age, kids become the parents becomes the kid, and the kid should become the parent of the parent. So very beautifully. And therefore the word Dina is being used here. Right. The Dina word is used for the advanced stage of Suniti. We are seeing that Dhruva himself was a very advanced stage. But to speak of Suniti, she was also very in an advanced stage. Dhruva had a feeling of obligation to his mother because she was the Patha Pradarshak Guru. Patha means path, Pradarshak means one who shows. So Patha Pradarshak Guru is the one who shows the path to spirituality. And in Dhruva's case, that was uh, his mother, Suniti, who had shown the path. Right, she was the Patha Pradarshak Guru. Prabhupada said there are three personalities: Patha Pradarshak Guru, Shiksha Guru, and Diksha Guru. And all these gurus have to be recognized and they have to be respected. One cannot say, "Oh, my Guru means only Diksha Guru." No, even Shiksha Guru, even Patha Pradarshak Guru needs to be respected. So, according to Shastric injunction, there is no difference between Shiksha Guru and Diksha Guru, especially. Yasya deve parabhaktir, yatha deve tatha gurau. Guru is bahuvachan and not just Guru, right? Yatha deve tatha guru. Suniti was the Pratha Pradarshak Guru, and Dhruva Mahārāja's Diksha Guru was Narad Muni. There is no question of taking Narad Muni back home, back to Godhead, because he always keeps on going. Narad Muni is beyond, right? He goes, comes back, he delivers everybody. That's how Narad Muni is. Narad Muni is Diksha Guru. And therefore, Dhruva naturally thought of his mother. There is a very important point that, this is very important point, that love comes only by service. And that's what we will see. Parents love the child because parents have done a lot of service to the children. But children will only love the parents when they perform service to the parents. Love doesn't come by being together or simply related. Love comes only by service. And therefore, it is very naturally seen everywhere that parents love the children, but children fall way short in loving the parents because the element of service is lacking there. Right. So, love means service, love means to serve. Yeah, please continue.
Whatever plan the Supreme Personality of Godhead contemplates immediately fructifies. Similarly, a devotee who is completely dependent on the Supreme Lord can also fulfill his wishes by the grace of the Lord. The Lord fulfills his wishes independently, but a devotee fulfills his wishes simply by being dependent on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, as soon as Dhruva Maharaj thought of his poor mother, he was assured by the associates of Vishnu that Suniti was also going to Vaikuntha Loka in another plane. Dhruva Maharaj had thought that he was going alone to Vaikuntha Loka, leaving behind his mother, which was not very auspicious because people would criticize him for going alone to Vaikuntha Loka and not carrying with him Suniti, who had given him so much. But Dhruva also considered that he was not personally the supreme. Therefore, only if Kṛṣṇa fulfills his desires would it be possible. Kṛṣṇa could immediately understand his mind, and he told Dhruva that his mother was also going with him. This incident proves that a pure devotee like Dhruva Maharaj can fulfill all his desires. By the grace of the Lord, he becomes exactly like the Lord. And thus, whenever he thinks of anything, his wish is immediately fulfilled.
So the Lord, whatever desire is immediately fulfilled. And similarly, Swabhaviki Jnana Balakriyacha. And similarly, by the mercy of the Lord, the desire of a pure devotee is also immediately fulfilled. What is the difference? The Lord independently fulfills his own desire, and devotee simply depending on the Supreme Lord, he fulfills his own desire. Okay. So Dhruva, he had a thought of his mother Suniti, and as soon as Dhruva Maharaj thought of his poor mother, and then the associates of Vishnu, they could realize, they could read mind of Dhruva, and immediately they arranged for, the Vaikuntha Gamana for Suniti as well. Srila Prabhupada says, naturally, Dhruva thought of his mother who had done so much for Dhruva, and Kṛṣṇa immediately understood the mind of Dhruva, and he told that Suniti is also going back home, back to Godhead. This incident proves that a pure devotee like Dhruva Maharaj can fulfill all his desires by the grace of the Lord. And this way, he becomes exactly as the Lord. Right? Just like, Prabhupada, other place gives the example of a servant who is maintaining the farmhouse of a master, owner. Owner will come once in a year and he will, just see and he will just relish the farmhouse. But the servant enjoys the farmhouse far more than the owner, right? Because he's always day in, day out, he's in the farmhouse. So whatever he thinks of, his wish is immediately fulfilled. So we will conclude here and continue tomorrow. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Thank you, Prabhupada. Thank you, everyone. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you. Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, everyone.